This is why we have decided to revolt and take the fate of our countries into our own hands. There are many other examples, but when we decided so, we were approached by some saloon slaves to pass on the message of their master. Because they had created this kind of polymer chain that rises to the heads of our states to serve them. And we came to break the chain. And it is inconceivable for them. They approached us and asked us to enter the ranks, to make the elite leave that must lead Africa. Because they have an elite formed and formatted that must follow, that is embedded in this chain. We refused to enter their ranks. And then the hostilities began. They have sent several mercenaries and trainers to our area. The agents have descended into the Sahel to carry out barbaric, cowardly attacks against our people, hoping to revolt them. In addition to these attacks on the ground, the attacks on communication, manipulation, and disinformation are full in their ranks. But the people of the Sahel have understood, and we will never be able to be manipulated again. They know where they come from, they know what they are doing, and they know where they are going. We will no longer allow this. People are awake, and people are fighting today, not for ourselves, but for future generations. And thank you all for the fight that has been fought. This will never make us cry. We will not tremble. We will fight. We will fight for real independence, for our freedom. Because to scare the people of the Sahel, these individuals have only 3 terms in their mouths: democracy, freedom, human rights. Of course, their local values are only elected in a democratic, free and transparent process according to their values. What is more normal, that we want to impose this on ourselves, because it is they who dictate the rules. Very well, we have decided to take responsibility. Do you know why on June 26, 2023, when Niger decided to turn the page, the slaves of Salon and their masters got on the big horses? They put their local values forward and decided to wage a war against the Nigerian people. So we said, anyone who dares to take up arms against Niger will face us. Because we will wage a merciless war until the last drop of blood for anyone who dares to attack our states. This word, this decision we made yesterday, is current today and will be current tomorrow and forever. Thus, we acquired the AES on September.
Profound meaning of the word. Also call us putschis. Very well, we appropriate it. Over the years, as far as Burkina Faso is concerned, you may have noticed all the bodies have been destructured. No more training, nothing left for the army. They imposed in all our major states, all our schools and all our strategic structures, what they called military councils. When we revolted on September 30th, 2022, the first thing was to find out who these military councils were and where they were. So we were able to identify that the evil was deep. And the first thing was to ask them to leave our army. They left. And what I told you not long ago, You cannot hope to find your lost object by calling on the one who stole it to come and help you find it. When we asked the military councils to leave, we felt manifestations. We were made to understand that we would not be able to get by without them. And every time they told us, it was translated by attacks on the ground. We received the message well. At the dawn of the year 2023, we decided to tell the foreign forces present here to leave, because we want to fight in Burkina Faso. They did not surely appreciate it, but why come and die on our land for us? We prefer to fight ourselves. We ask them to return home. Unfortunately, I tell you here today, as I like to say, colonization has returned. There are slaves of Ceylon who still have not understood. In the meantime, military officers wrote to us and approached us to tell us that it was a very bad decision and that we would not last 2 months. Files were written. We were sent these files to make a strategic analysis of their thoughts. We said either we are sovereign or we remain slaves forever. Indeed, when the last soldier left Burkina Faso, we understood what it was about. The attacks followed immediately. Dehao, Timnikov, Partiaga, and so on. But what they had forgotten was that the people of Burkina Faso had understood our message. And had engaged in the same way as we did. We reorganized quickly, and suddenly we noticed that all the sleeping terrorists had woken up in Burkina Faso. We reorganized the army as quickly as possible. At an unequal speed, we have created several units, and even if several others are yet to come, we have equipped them. And today this equipment continues because in the days to come, the months to come, what you will see coming to Burkina Faso must make our army a power to fear. We will not hesitate about the means. We understood that the fight against imperialism will be hard, very hard. But only the hard ones will pass, and the Burkinabés are hard, and we will pass. We have put on guard for more than a year the local valets, the slaves of Ceylon, so that they do not betray their country for the benefit of imperialism. Some have understood and organized themselves. Others have not understood. Maybe they thought they were smarter, but today we have no more feelings about this theft. Whoever betrays his country for the benefit of imperialism, he will be treated as such. Returning to our famous ECOWAS, since we decided to leave the ECOWAS, the slaves of Ceylon have been driven everywhere. They want to scare the people. They want to scare everyone. God, thank you. In a recent past, there were only a handful of people who had the right to speak. On the TV sets, that's what they said, who were ready for the gospel. Today, with the new technologies, which of course have advantages and disadvantages, everyone has the right to speak. And I think the Yayes are the first to confirm this. Everyone can make his own analysis of a situation. We can certainly make mistakes, but when we come to understand, we are open to explain the process. Here we will explain to you why we left the ECOWAS and where we are going. Remember that it was in 1975 that it was created. And it was created for the majority of state leaders, putschists, as they like to say. It was the military who took the power and took the responsibility to create the ECOWAS, so that there was a real economic growth of the people inside this space. Later, the so-called Democrats were invited to the heads of our states. They completely emptied the community of its foundation. When on June 26, Nigeria decided to take its destiny into its own hands, we were surprised to see the ECOWAS appear on June 16th with a force in weight. Where was this force? When thousands and thousands of Nigerians were killed by terrorists. Where was this force? When thousands of Malians and Burkinabés died under the bullets of terrorists. They said that by force they were going to house the valiant sons of Nigeria who took the destiny into their own hands. Do you believe that these are women who are in Nigeria? There are fighters there. The Nigerian army is a warrior. It has been fighting for years. It is not a parade army or a peacekeeping army. And the armies of the ECOWAS have decided to unite. We are waiting for this force in weight. It is important that these so-called Democrats understand this. When thousands of Nigerians die in hospital beds due to lack of electricity or lack of medication, it is a crime. They are responsible for these sanctions. They are responsible for these deaths. The same thing happens in Mali. With Burkina, we have indirect sanctions, because people have to understand. When they take their orders from the other side, they come and do everything to apply it. It is shameful. Some have decided not to provide electricity to our countries. It is not free. We pay, and it contributes to their economy. They have tried to make Mali suffer. And of course, by ignoring all the texts and not providing electricity to Mali, hoping that the population would revolt. It does not work. When it lasted, some were forced to make their own people pay by increasing the cost of electricity. It will increase again. This gives us several lessons. Several lessons in the sense that the independence we take, the sovereignty we take, we must do everything for it to be. They have given us very good lessons, and we have understood very well. Some have closed their ports, which goes against all international texts, because we cannot close our ports in a landless country. They did it. They violated the text. The international community did not say a word. No one spoke in the Saudi Arabia. But in their ports, we do not transfer our goods for free. We pay. And those who do it collect today their broken skin. And I think it is a lesson for them too, that we should not always apply the instructions of their masters. They must understand it forever. The Saudi Arabia has never made a statement to congratulate a victory of our armies. Barely, they condemn from the tip of their lips. And very rarely when there are massacres, or when it happens outside the people. In short, we cannot cite all the harm that has been done to our people. But we have decided with all our heart and conscience to withdraw and to focus on our common organization. And that is the IAS. Remember that there is no fear. Because in prospecting and putting us to work, we have noticed one thing. Recently, some have decided to ban the exportation of certain food products to Burkina Faso. Very well, they have given a deadline. We will ensure that at the end of this deadline, we will prohibit the entry of these products on our territory. Thomas Sankara said,
"Welcome to our deep dive into the visionary leadership of Ibrahim Traoré, the young and resolute leader of Burkina Faso." Now, I know what you're thinking. Burkina Faso, what can Jamaica learn from a landlocked country in West Africa? And to that I say, hold my red stripe moan and buckle up. Today we'll explore how Traoré's principles, his bold vision for a self-reliant and empowered Burkina Faso, can offer significant insights for Jamaica. Because believe it or not, across the ocean, under the Caribbean sun, there are striking parallels in the struggles and aspirations of these two nations. So get ready to ditch the tourist brochures and dive into the heart of real leadership, the kind that challenges the status quo and dares to dream of a brighter future. A future where Jamaica, like Burkina Faso under Traoré, takes its destiny into its own hands. Now let's talk about Traoré's first order of business kicking out the French military presence that had been lingering in Burkina Faso since, well, forever. You see, for too long, Burkina Faso, like many nations across Africa and the Caribbean, had been living under the shadow of former colonial powers. But Traoré, he said, enough is enough. He recognized that true independence means taking control of your own destiny, setting your own priorities, even if it ruffles a few feathers in Paris. And that, my friends, is a lesson Jamaica, with its own history of colonial baggage, knows all too well. It's about asking the tough questions: who benefits from our current economic policies? Who's really pulling the strings? And most importantly, how can we, as a nation, chart a course that puts the interests of Jamaicans first? Now let's talk about foreign aid, shall we? Because Traoré, he's not a fan. He sees it for what it often is, a band-aid solution, a way to keep nations dependent and beholden to foreign interests. He believes in empowering Burkina Faso to stand on its own 2 feet, to build its own industries, to control its own resources. And you know what? He's got a point. Jamaica, with its fertile land, its vibrant culture, its entrepreneurial spirit, has all the ingredients for success. But too often, we fall into the trap of relying on handouts instead of investing in ourselves. It's time to break free from that cycle, to unleash the potential of Jamaican industries, from agriculture to technology, to create a Jamaica that thrives on its own terms, not on the whims of foreign donors. One of the most striking things about Ibrahim Traoré is his age. This is a man who understands that the future belongs to the young, and he's not afraid to put them in the driver's seat. He's called for a new generation of leaders to step up, to bring fresh ideas and energy to Burkina Faso's challenges. Sound familiar? Jamaica too has a young and vibrant population bursting with talent and potential, but too often our youth face a lack of opportunities, a system that seems rigged against them. It's time to change that narrative, to invest in education, to create pathways for entrepreneurship, to empower our young people to become the leaders, the innovators, the change makers Jamaica needs to thrive in the 21st century. Chapter 4: Preserving Paradise, Protecting Jamaica's Cultural Identity. Now let's talk about something close to my heart: culture. See, Traore, he gets it. He understands that a nation's culture is its soul, its identity, its unique fingerprint on the world, and he's fiercely protective of Burkina Faso's cultural heritage, pushing back against the relentless tide of westernization. Jamaica, my friends, we are a cultural powerhouse. From reggae to dancehall, from our cuisine to our language, we bring flavor to the world. But we can't take our cultural richness for granted. We need to be vigilant, to support our artists, to preserve our traditions, to ensure that Jamaica remains a beacon of cultural vibrancy, a place where our unique identity is celebrated and cherished for generations to come. Chapter 5: Taking Back What's Ours, Economic Independence for Jamaica. One of Traoré's boldest moves has been to assert control over Burkina Faso's gold reserves. For years, foreign companies have profited from these resources, leaving little behind for the Burkinabe people. No more, says Traoré. And you know what? He's got a point. Jamaica too has valuable resources, from bauxite to our stunning natural beauty. But for too long, we've allowed foreign companies to dictate the terms, to reap the lion's share of the profits. It's time to rewrite the rules of the game, to ensure that Jamaicans benefit from our own resources, to invest in local industries, to create a more equitable and sustainable economic future for all. Chapter 6: Beyond the Usual Suspects, Diversifying Jamaica's International Partnerships. Traoré understands that true independence means breaking free from old dependencies, forging new alliances based on mutual respect and shared prosperity. He's been reaching out to emerging economies, exploring new trade partnerships beyond the traditional Western powers. And that, my friends, is a lesson Jamaica should take to heart. For too long, we've been overly reliant on a handful of countries for trade and investment. It's time to diversify, to explore new markets, to build relationships with nations across Africa, Asia, Latin America, nations that see Jamaica not as a former colony but as an equal partner, a nation with something valuable to offer the world. Chapter 7. Traoré is a vocal advocate for African unity, for a continent that stands together against external exploitation and interference. He understands that a divided Africa is a vulnerable Africa, and he's committed to building bridges, to fostering collaboration and solidarity among African nations. Now, Jamaica might be a small island, but we're not alone. We're part of a Caribbean community, a region with a shared history, shared challenges, and shared aspirations. It's time to strengthen those bonds, to advocate for stronger Caribbean alliances, to present a united front on the world stage, and to show the world that together we are stronger. Now let's talk about the elephants in the room, the IMF, the World Bank, and those lovely structural adjustment programs they're so fond of. Traoré, he's not a fan. He sees these institutions for what they often are: instruments of neo-colonial control, trapping nations in cycles of debt and dependency. And you know what? He's not wrong. Jamaica, we know this story all too well. We've been down this road and it hasn't led us to the promised land. It's time to explore alternatives, to invest in sustainable development, to empower local communities, to break free from the shackles of debt, and chart a new course towards genuine economic liberation. One of the most remarkable things about Ibrahim Traoré is his humility. This is not a man who craves luxury or personal enrichment. He lives a modest lifestyle, choosing to serve his people rather than enrich himself. Now, I'm not saying Jamaican leaders need to give up their Clarks or anything, but maybe, just maybe, there's a lesson here about integrity, about putting the needs of the people above personal gain. It's time for transparency, for accountability, for leaders who understand that true leadership is about service, about being a voice for the voiceless, about working tirelessly to build a better future for all. From Little England to Lionheart, reclaiming Jamaica's national pride. Traoré understands that a nation without pride is a nation adrift. He's instilled a sense of national pride in Burkina Faso, a belief in the power of the Burkinabe people to overcome any obstacle and build a brighter future. And Jamaica, we need a dose of that Lionheart spirit. For too long, we've been fed a narrative of inferiority, a colonial hangover that tells us we're not good enough, that we need to imitate others to succeed. It's time to reject that narrative, to embrace our unique identity, to celebrate our history, our culture, our resilience. It's time to invest in local industries, to tell our own stories, to show the world the true meaning of Jamaican excellence. Unbreaking the chains, overcoming the legacy of colonialism. Traoré knows that true independence is an ongoing struggle, a constant pushback against the lingering effects of colonialism. He's challenged unfair agreements, stood up to foreign pressure, and refused to let Burkina Faso be defined by its past. And that, my friends, is a lesson Jamaica needs to take to heart. The ghosts of colonialism still linger, from economic structures that favor the few to social hierarchies that perpetuate inequality. It's time to confront those ghosts head-on, to critically examine our international agreements, to dismantle systems that no longer serve us, and to build a Jamaica that is truly free, truly independent, truly our own. Protectors, not oppressors. Redefining the role of the military. Now, I know what you're thinking. A military leader, isn't that a bit, well, concerning? And I hear you. But Traoré's leadership challenges our preconceived notions of what a military leader can be. He understands that the military's primary role is to protect its citizens, not to oppress them. He's emphasized the need for discipline, for professionalism, but also for respect for human rights and the rule of law. Now, I'm not saying Jamaica needs a military coup, but maybe, just maybe, there's a lesson here about the importance of a well-trained, disciplined, and accountable security force, one that works to protect and serve all Jamaicans. Homeward bound, addressing internal displacement and inequality. Traoré faces a massive challenge in Burkina Faso internal displacement due to conflict and instability. He's made it a priority to resettle displaced people, to provide them with support, to help them rebuild their lives. Now, Jamaica might not face the same level of displacement, but we do have our own struggles with inequality, with poverty, with communities left behind. It's time to invest in affordable housing, in social support programs, in creating opportunities for all Jamaicans to thrive, regardless of where they come from or what their circumstances may be. Securing paradise, a multifaceted approach to safety and security. Traoré understands that security is not just about military might, it's about addressing the root causes of instability, poverty, inequality, lack of opportunity. He's emphasized a multifaceted approach, combining national security measures with community engagement and development initiatives. Now, Jamaica, we know a thing or two about crime and violence, but we also know that locking up every youth on the corner is not the answer. It's time for a smarter approach, one that prioritizes border control, community policing, and most importantly, investment in social programs that give our young people a real chance at a brighter future. Chapter 15. Controlling the narrative, the power of independent media. Traoré has been wary of foreign-controlled media, recognizing its power to shape narratives and influence public opinion. He's encouraged the development of independent media outlets in Burkina Faso, platforms that amplify local voices and perspectives. Now, Jamaica, we know how important it is to control our own narrative. For too long, our stories have been told through the lens of others, often perpetuating stereotypes and distorting our reality. It's time to invest in independent Jamaican media, to support our journalists, to create platforms that amplify our voices, celebrate our culture, and tell our stories on our own terms. Traore is a proud Pan-Africanist, believing in the power of a united Africa to reclaim its place on the world stage. He sees the struggles of Burkina Faso as interconnected with the struggles of all African nations, and he's called for greater solidarity and cooperation across the continent. Now, Jamaica might be geographically distant, but we are spiritually connected to Africa. Our ancestors were brought here through the horrors of the transatlantic slave trade, and that shared history binds us together in ways that transcend geography. It's time to strengthen those ties, to build bridges with African nations, to educate our youth about their African heritage, to recognize that we are not an island unto ourselves, but part of a global African diaspora with a shared destiny. Traore has taken a hard line against foreign exploitation of Burkina Faso's resources. He's expelled foreign mining companies that were extracting wealth without giving back to the Burkinabe people, sending a clear message that the days of neo-colonial plunder are over. Now, Jamaica, we've had our fair share of experiences with foreign companies coming in, taking what they want, and leaving us with crumbs. It's time to renegotiate those contracts, to ensure that Jamaicans benefit from our own resources, to prioritize sustainable development, and to create an economy that works for all Jamaicans, not just a select few. Decolonizing minds. Education as a tool for liberation. Traore understands that true liberation starts with education. He's called for reforms to Burkina Faso's education system, a move away from colonial curriculums that glorify the oppressors and erase the achievements of African civilizations. And Jamaica, we need an educational revolution. For too long, our children have been taught a Eurocentric curriculum that ignores our own history, our own heroes, our own cultural richness. It's time to decolonize our minds, to teach our children about their African heritage, about the struggles and triumphs of the Jamaican people, to equip them with the knowledge and skills they need to build a truly independent and prosperous Jamaica. We run things, unleashing the power of Jamaican resilience. Despite facing enormous challenges, Traore remains steadfast in his belief in Burkina Faso's potential. He's instilled a sense of resilience in his people, a determination to overcome adversity and build a brighter future. And Jamaica, resilience is in our DNA. We faced down slavery, colonialism, natural disasters, and economic hardship, and we've emerged stronger each time. It's time to tap into that wellspring of resilience, to prioritize internal solutions, to support local entrepreneurs, to believe in ourselves and our ability to create the Jamaica we want to see. Beyond the horizon, forging a new path for global South collaboration. Traore understands that the challenges facing Burkina Faso are not unique. He sees them as interconnected with the struggles of developing nations around the world, nations grappling with the legacies of colonialism, neo-colonialism, and global inequality. He's been a vocal advocate for greater South-South cooperation, for building alliances with other developing countries to challenge the existing global order and create a more just and equitable world. And Jamaica, we have a role to play in this movement. It's time to diversify our international partnerships, to strengthen ties with nations across the global South, to share our experiences, to learn from each other, and to work together to build a world where all nations, regardless of size or history, have the opportunity to thrive. A vision ignited, building a brighter future for Jamaica. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Ibrahim Traoré's visionary leadership. We've explored his bold actions, his unwavering commitment to Burkina Faso's sovereignty, and his vision for a self-reliant and prosperous Africa. Now, I know some of what we've discussed might seem radical, even controversial, but that's the point, isn't it? To challenge the status quo, to think outside the box, to imagine a different kind of future for Jamaica, one that is free from the shackles of the past and brimming with possibilities. Let's take these lessons to heart and work towards a more self-reliant and united Jamaica. A Jamaica that controls its own destiny, celebrates its unique identity, and takes its rightful place as a beacon of hope and progress in the Caribbean and beyond.